Shrinking fans, welcome back to Tori Talks with Dr. S. I'm Tori, this is Dr. S. We will be talking about Season 2, Episode 3. It's entitled Psychological Somethingism. All right, well, kind of a heavy, intense episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Now let's start with Liz. So Liz is wanting to be more selfless, right? Which people often find a lot of joy in being selfless, right? So, I mean, I think she's a really good friend, but she just wants to dig deeper, right? So when she sees Shawn and his dad talking, and they have this seemingly good relationship, and then she overhears a conversation about the dad saying, well, this was supposed to be our thing, we were going to open up a truck. She's like, I'll do this really selfless act, and I'll sell my share to the dad, and then they can make this dream come true. And Shawn is pissed. Betrayal, just this uncomfortable, everything negative. He's not happy about it at all, really intensely, right?
Yeah.
So it is a good point when he said, why didn't you ask me?
Yeah, I'm totally on his side with this.
That's the missing piece of this.
Why wouldn't you just ask? It doesn't make sense.
He's trying so hard to escape his, triggers, which I think is very healthy. Right now, until I feel more healed.
Yeah.
I can't be triggered by the army friend, doing the vlog, right? So, and then obviously his dad triggers him. Now my question is, am I missing something? Does Liz know that he and his dad maybe have a complicated relationship?
I don't think she knew, which is why she just took that moment that she saw for what it was.
Because it looked...
Yeah. And he was, we know more because we've seen, how they were before. So, yeah, but I was totally on Shawn's side. I was like, don't just make him have a new business partner. I mean, he did say what he said. You could see why she would think that, but you would totally ask first.
Yeah, I mean, it was meant to be a surprise, but it is hard because he's just kind of smiling with his dad and so it is confusing.
But what's he going to do on the street, right?
And what's he going to be like, hey, by the way, Liz, that's all a front. I'm not actually really in a good relationship with him.
It's just small talk on the street.
Oof, it was messy.
I feel like Derek should have talked her out of that. Been like, are you sure
damn
that's
it,
a good
Derek.
idea? Derek, you're so sensible. You're the most sensible person on the show.
Kind of is.
Why would you let Liz do that? So, it'll get resolved.
Of course it is.
Yeah. I hope they're partners.
That's
I don't
really
want
hard.
the dad to be the partner.
No, because then, his point, Shawn, he said, I can't go to him and say, he's going to know that I was like, no, I don't want this to happen. So, how do you get out of the situation? Remains to be seen. All right, let's talk about Alice, who ends up at the cafe where Double D, drunk driver, Lewis is his name, he works. And he's a very nice man, just in this moment, I'm just saying. I'm not dismissing anything. Yes. But she feels compelled to tell him who she is, the daughter of the person that you killed. And he starts apologizing. It's kind of awkward. I mean, I don't know.
What do you say? What do you say? Exactly.
And then she has a huge lash out, which, get it out,
I don't blame her.
Yeah, so then... it begs, okay, are they trying to make her see that he is a nice guy?
She doesn't want him to be a nice guy.
Right, and is that part of the struggle?
Yeah, she has to hate him, right? Because she
must hate you, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
Oh, it was such a good, thought experiment.
Yes.
Because the thing is, he's not a bad guy, right?
Right, he did a bad thing.
Yes, bad choice that he obviously feels terrible about, and he can't fix it. There's no way to fix it. It doesn't make him a bad person, but of course she has to hate him.
Yeah.
I bet by the end she's not going to hate him. But I mean, she's still going to be really mad about the situation. But I can't even imagine being in that situation.
What a circumstance. Yeah, I don't know, but I saw an interview with Brett Goldstein, who plays Lewis, and he had to shave his beard. And he's like, I always have a beard. So this was very weird. But he actually wasn't, he wrote, I think, had a hand in writing that part of Lewis, and he wasn't supposed to play him at first. And then I feel like it was almost similar to his character of Roy Kent, because he wasn't meant to play him. And then he did an audition tape, and he was like, whatever. But no, this one was more, I think, other people throwing it around, like, should he maybe play him? Anyway, back to Alice. But I thought that was a fun little... fun fact. So Alice is consoled by Connor, and then in her front yard, and then she decides to kiss him. And I think this is just a distraction from her feelings.
It's
right
so
now.
bad because poor Summer.
Yeah, and he was trying to resist.
Yeah,
but it was almost like she was like, "I'm hurting just do this for me. And you're
She's
like, okay.
trying to just like, I don't know, numb, like just to wash that whole, I feel like she's doing something like bad.
Yeah.
So then she can like feel bad, you know?
It's all coping mechanisms,
so it's just going
right?
to be, because like her friend Summer has been like by her side this whole time.
Yeah.
And they just had that like, Summer just thanked her for introducing and asked, are you sure you're okay with it? And like, she's really falling for Connor.
Yeah.
And now she's going to lose her best friend.
This is bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but when I was that age, I was not very understanding. So, I mean, like, maybe when you're older, you could be like, oh, well, you were going through this and blah, blah, blah. But like, it's really hard.
Yeah. These guys are so much more evolved than we are, though. Like, they talk things out. So that's why I know everything's going to get resolved with everyone eventually.
Absolutely.
But there's going to be some ugliness and some fighting and but they are teaching us really good ways to resolve conflict.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I love it.
For sure. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Grace now, who is off the hook thanks to some witness statements and allegations of abuse that stops the state from pursuing charges.
Yes.
So awesome, cool, but then somehow she ends up being his caretaker. Not somehow. I mean, her guilt is eating her alive, and like that's just kind of her pattern to always go back to him, right? And I mean, it was super cute of Brian and Jimmy to be like the cheerleader, like, oh my God, this is happening. But then she just, like, also kind of, what did you expect? Did you expect her to do that? Not that I expected it, but I wasn't surprised.
I wasn't surprised. Yeah, I didn't expect it. I don't think I was expecting anything. I was just letting it play out. But then when they were about to show the person, right in that moment, I was like, oh no, it's going to be her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My nurse or whatever he calls her. Well, Brian to the rescue. He reads the witness statements, has her sister read her statement, and something clicks. And I think it's the feeling of love. Like, I am
her
loved.
friends saying what a good person she is. Like she is a good person.
She's worthy. Like, she's worthy of something better than this relationship. So, does that mean we're not seeing Grace anymore? I don't know. But, because, now it's like, it's just packing up,
because you
moving
can't
on.
keep doing it over and over again, right? I don't know.
Does Jimmy feel like that's a win for him?
Yeah.
Because he definitely needs a win, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's stay on the topic of Brian, because he does confront Jimmy about him not telling him about Gabby and him sleeping together. And there's a little bit of a back and forth with, like, yeah, well, you don't know my star sign, or like, you don't know who's the godfather of, my daughter, which, by the way, it's you.
It's you. That was hilarious.
So, but that is really funny, like, that they didn't know those little details or whatever. But it's quickly resolved because Jimmy does a very loving gesture, and he ends up being at his house with his husband for Wednesday dinner, which I guess Brian used to do with Tia. Wednesday dinner,
which I love that. Yeah.
That's so sweet. Yeah, so he's like, let's keep the tradition alive. And and then he does know his star sign.
Because he learned it. So what I loved is that, they were called out, and they were wrong, but they didn't let that stop them. Their pride didn't get in the way. Jimmy was like, oh, he's right. I'm going to go learn all that stuff.
Right. It matters. It matters to him, obviously.
You can fix things like that, you really
that simple.
But we don't do stuff like that
in communication.
Yeah. And action. Yeah. Like, just, you know what? I'm going to call the husband, invite myself over to dinner and get to know him. Like,
it's like, hey, I didn't know that stuff.
Yeah.
So now do better.
Yeah. And now that I realize it, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do something about it.
People don't do that.
It's weird.
Yeah,
why? Because
I know.
What is it, ego? Or is it laziness? Or fear?
I think it's ego. I think it's ego. Like, maybe they want to deny, oh, it's not true. I'm a good person.
Yeah.
No, then, but then if you know
Prove it.
What your best friend really wants from you is to, like, really know him.
And his husband?
Did.
Yeah.
So
that was really sweet.
Yay,
Jimmy.
I thought that was so good.
Some redemption for Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Paul. So Paul he's with Julie. He's going to meet Julie's husband. Yes, husband, because he is suffering from dementia. So he goes to meet Elliot and realizes, like, that's his future. Like, he will, because of his Parkinson's diagnosis, he will end up this way. And he doesn't want Julie to have to suffer that same process over again. And it's really sweet and chivalrous, but it's also like, she knows. She's a big girl. She knows what she's in for.
Yeah. It's dismissive of her wishes, too. Right? Like, she can't make decisions for herself.
Yeah, like, I got this. Yeah. But they do make a really good decision to get a different neurologist because, she's the partner and doesn't have to be his doctor anymore. So that was really
I thought that
well
was
done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So big episode, big feelings, big confrontations.
Yes.
But it's only episode 3. We've got plenty of time.
Well, we have to talk about Gabby and Jimmy, too. Because they are being so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just
They're being a little childish with each other, taking little jabs. She pours out his coffee. That was my favorite.
Gabby's so hilarious.
Oh, I love her
She
so
keeps
much.
like giving him the finger and saying all these things to him at work. Yeah.
They're going to be fine.
They are going to resolve it as well. I don't know what the conclusion will be, but they'll at least be friends.
Funny banter.
Yeah.
Oh, I also like the vulnerability between Derek and Paul. That was really cute. Like,
oh, yeah.
Just a little bit of that. So
Yeah.
it's hard to, we don't see a lot of Paul being vulnerable. So why not with someone you just met?
Yes.
But yeah, really, really good episode.
Oh, it's so good. This show is so, like, probably maybe one of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I like maybe favorite.
I have yet to find someone who doesn't love it.
Love. Not just like, oh, I kind of like it. No. If you see it, you love it.
Everybody I know.
If you don't love it, you haven't seen it. It's pretty much what it is.
That was well said.
Yeah.
Everybody and people that like all different types of genre, different shows than I like, love it.
That's why I think the world is going to change, because we're going to start resolving conflict in an open way. We're just going to say, like, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. Let's fix it.
What if shrinking saves humanity?
Really, right? More people need to see it. How do we get it out there?
How do we do that?
Right?
I don't know.
Yes.
Nobody watches us. So. All right. Let us know what you thought of this very powerful episode of Shrinking. Comment below, and we will see you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Help me carry this weight.